Hey beautiful people, welcome back to Making Home here. This is Priscilla, and today we're going to continue to talk about long haul flights with children. If you haven't seen the part where I talk about preparation for my big family as we traveled to Uganda, please click here or over there wherever the link pops up and just watch it, or get down into the description box. Okay, thank you so much for commenting on that video, for giving me more tips on what we could do better next time in preparation. But for today's topic, we're going to talk about the flight itself. I'm going to give you a little bit tiny tips here and there, things you might not have known maybe before, and things I think personally I would do better next time. Let's get into this. Let's start with packing with your carry-on and luggage. Okay, so when packing for kids and when traveling with kids, you will have to understand that your carry-ons have to be as practical as it only gets. Okay, because you're going to need, depending on how old your children are, you're going to need certain things from these bags while on the plane. Okay, for us it was the diapers, for the diaper changing times, the diapers, the wipes, eatables, okay, on the plane. So we had to have specific things on our carry-ons. Okay, that is my number one tip on the flight. Be steady. Don't put things that you will need on the flight into the big luggages that you're actually going to give in while checking in. Okay, so just make sure your carry-ons are pretty much set for the children, with edibles, with the entertaining systems. So the next one is about the pandemic. Okay, as we all know, 2 years now, flying has really been tough on everybody. Okay, you have to do thousands of tests before you get onto a flight, before you get onto a bus. Okay, if you're not immunized in certain countries. Okay, so while flying with children, you have to make sure you watch the countries. First of all, which country you are flying from, where you are going, and where you will be doing your transit from. Okay, where will you be changing flights from? You have to look at their laws. When it gets to kids, I just know my recent research shows that starting from 3-year-olds, this is for my country, from the country we flew from, which is Germany. Okay, starting from 3-year-olds, they will need you to test the children. Okay, 3 and above. Okay, they will need you to take the child to test them of COVID. Okay, yes, and other countries start from 6 years, and other actually start from 12. So depending, like I said, where are you coming from, where will you transit from, and where will you land? Okay, I need you to check on that before flying. In fact, 1 week prior, before flying, you will need to see where are we going to test from, who is going to be tested from the family. Some, in fact, actually on those PCR tests centers, actually they can even test babies. Okay, yes, if the parents are very okay with it, you will pay and you can test the whole family. You don't get into trouble in certain countries. Okay, I have read of countries where each and everybody on that plane, baby or not, has actually to be thoroughly tested. Okay, I will not mention any country. Just make sure you do a thorough research on that country that you're going in, or the country you're making transit in. So I can only talk for Germany. Like I told you, 3 years and above, every person getting on the flight has to have a PCR test. And I will talk also for Uganda, where we landed. Upon landing, you will have to take another test, regardless of how many hours you have been on the flight, regardless of what your PCR test is saying. Upon landing, you have to take another PCR test. So we did take this PCR test, like I said, starting from 3 years in Germany, but while reaching in Uganda, we had it was just my husband and I. that had to take the test, because the laws over there say that flying in a pandemic, upon landing, every person starting from 6 years old has to take this test. Okay, so just make your research and make sure you have that in order before flying. So let's get to how you're going to transport your kids, how you're going to carry them at the airport. Okay, or let's start from home. Okay, how you're going to carry them from home to the airport, and then we talk about how you're going to carry them on the plane. Okay, if you're driving yourself, you can actually take your baby car seat with you on the plane. Okay, depending on how old the baby is. If they're still using a car seat, like a baby car seat, you can actually take that on the plane. Just make sure that you have actually got a place, like an extra seat on the plane. Okay, so normally what I have seen parents do on the plane itself is they take the car seat knowing that their seats, like the booked seats on the plane. That gets me to my next point. Okay, transporting your babies at the airport. Many parents opt to take their buggies, which is a very comfortable I would say option for the children. Okay, just in case they get tired, they're asleep. Okay, but we have ever traveled with a buggy. Okay, by then we had only one child. It was easy, it was flexible, it was just a foldable buggy, very practical. It was not only for the flight itself, like at the airport stay, but also for the place. So but this time around we didn't opt for buggies, even though the children are now more in number. Okay, we opted for a baby beyond. That is, I guess that's what it's called in English. That's what you tie over here and you just put the baby inside. Okay, for our little one. She flew then, by the way, as a baby, but came back because it was pretty much a long holiday. She came back as a toddler, as a 1-year-old. Okay, so by then her size and kilograms were still manageable. So my husband was like, okay, let's take her with the baby beyond. We just strapped her on his chest and all was fine. So we didn't need a buggy for her. And for our second born, who flew before she turned 2, like she was a toddler, but she was under 2. Okay, she was by then a lap baby. Okay, and I would say lap babies are those ones that sit on your laps, that are actually not allowed to sit in their own seat. But nevertheless, we had booked an extra place, okay, for her, because we knew when we would return after the long holiday, she would be already 2. And many plane companies actually count a toddler at 2 as independent enough to sit alone. Okay, regardless of their size. And some of them count the kgs, but regardless of their size, if they're 2 and above, they will have to have an extra seat. So our second born had an extra seat already while flying towards our holiday. We also didn't get a buggy for her for another reason of we had luggage to carry. Okay, we'll get there on what to carry when you want to have your hands free. Okay, we had luggage to carry. We wanted to just be as flexible as enough, and like everything, this is just optional. Okay, you've just clicked to just get an idea on how you can do it better, on how it can be easier for you. I mean, you also want to enjoy the flight. You don't want to be exhausted from the flight before you even get to your holiday. I mean, it's going to be stressful here and there, yes, but you want to kind of have it a little bit easy. Okay, not to strain yourself that much just because we are going on holiday. We don't want to die on the job, honeys. Okay, so we had a suitcase, which actually we did a put together of that suitcase, where you can actually put your toddler on top, pretty much secure. It's pretty much secure. You can just pull the suitcase with them while they sit on top. Also, for our second born, we didn't need an extra buggy. We just strapped her onto that suitcase and we could just pull her along at the airport. And to our firstborn, who was, by the time we flew, 4 years old, she can pretty much walk. She doesn't want a buggy. Even if you give her you like offer her one, she was just like, no, I am grown, I have got my rucksack, I am ready to see my grandparents, so let's go. You just have also to know your children, what they can do, how long they can hold on with things like walking. Okay, if I were to repeat this again, like in the same size, in the same age they're in right now, I would do it again like that, without buggies. Okay. Buggies are nice, very, very comfortable for the children, but you also have to remember that you don't have your hands free, okay, which you actually will need when pushing them around the airport, but also pushing the carry-ons with the very many luggages if you're traveling with what? With children. So now let's look at the entertainment while you are on the plane. How are you going to get your children entertained, concentrated, and you're talking about concentration for at least 6 hours if you've got stopovers, or 6 to 8 hours if you've got stopovers in between. I guess there are even flights that are 10 hours without a stop. So how we managed to entertain them for such a long time, and such a long time for a 4-year-old would be like 2.5 hours. For our 2-year-old was pretty much like every 30 minutes. And I mean 30 minutes, even 30 minutes with breaks. Okay, so what we did, I mentioned in the last video that we took a tablet for our 4-year-old. We took coloring sheets for our 2-year-old, and I've watched, or I did watch preparation. I did watch very many videos on what parents actually do take, but I am going to tell you something, like, don't get into the supermarkets or into wherever you shop, whatever you shop, or whatever you think might be helpful for you. Okay, don't buy way too much. You exactly know your children, so what takes your children's concentration away from other things? Okay, ask yourself that and exactly take that. You don't need to take thousands and tons of thousands on your carry-ons, okay? Because I've seen so many parents take so many things where I'm just like, honey, this is extra kilos that you don't want. You've already got luggage, and you've got the kids, okay, next to that luggage. You don't want to overstress yourself with extra things that you don't actually need, especially on the carry-ons, okay, that you're actually either going to be having on your back or be pulling around the airport. You don't want that, okay? Take exactly what you were sure of, that if I take this with me, our babies will be quiet. They will be quiet at least for a short time or for a long time. You know your children, so do your best. Take entertaining systems like tablets or maybe phones if that takes their attention or gets their attention. Take coloring sheets with you. Take games if you were used to play as a family. Take games with you if they're grown enough to play such games. Just take everything that you think they will be interested in. And for babies, usually babies are going to sleep, okay, depending on how their schedules, their routines are, and how old they are, okay? So if I talk about a baby, this, by the time we flew, she was still, I would say, baby, but she was going into the toddler stage. It was just a few months before she turned 1, so she pretty much could play with her sister. With our 2-year-old, they could actually play together. So we also took things that would combine a little bit the two to just spend time with each other while they're seated. In addition to that, on planes, they've got those little small TVs. They've got children entertaining programs on them. You could use that as well, though it didn't work very well for us, because the children actually don't watch that much TV, so it was just our 4-year-old who was interested in some programs, okay, for just a few minutes, and then she still wanted to do something else on her tablet, or read, or play, or do whatever she wanted to do. But they've got those little TVs on the plane actually with children's programs. Okay, so my next point would be edibles, how you get your children fed on the plane. Definitely, if it's a long haul flight, you will get something to eat from the plane attendants. Okay, they've got also children's, I wouldn't say children's meals, but if you've got a baby flying with a baby, they've got actually children's food, baby food, okay, the tinned one. If your children are used to that, you might ask for something like that. They've got it. You can also ask, you can always ask for hot water, just in case you need to mix your pulver milk for the baby. I'm speaking out of experience. Sometimes you don't get to read these things somewhere and you think, okay, I have to carry each and everything by myself. You don't need to. Hot water anyway, you can't, because you are allowed a certain amount of liquid while getting onto the plane. So there is no way you're going to take hot water onto the plane. Okay, so just get your water bottle, your empty water bottle, your empty thermal flask, where the plane attendants can actually always give you water. At a certain point, I asked them for so much water, like so many times, and I just asked if I could just use the kitchen anytime I wanted, and they were kind enough, like in the night, they were kind enough to just say, okay, no problem, here's the water, and anytime you were in need, okay, of the water, either like call someone or just stand up yourself and get into the kitchen. That's how nice they were. Okay, so just ask in case you've got certain questions about the food. Okay, so yes, let's get to our last point, and that would be sleeping on the plane. So if you've got a baby again flying with you, there is an option of having a bassinet on the plane. Okay, on very many flights, you will have to pre-book the bassinet, because you don't have a clue how many children are going to come with babies, how many people will be needing the bassinet. Okay, so very smart is to pre-book the bassinet, which of course will cost you extra money. This time we didn't book it because, like I said, our baby then was pretty much almost a toddler. She's tall, she doesn't actually fit into the bassinet anymore. Well, she would fit, but it wouldn't be comfortable anymore. Okay, but you can pre-book that, and otherwise, yes, you're going to carry them on your lap as they sleep, or you have your car seat with you and you've got an extra seat booked where you can actually place your car seat. Okay, and the toddlers, like I said, our 2-year-old could sleep on the seat herself, so she slept on the seat. So our 4-year-old, so that was pretty much easy. So to get your children sleeping on the plane could be tricky, but what we did, or what you can do, a tip from me to moms and dads, just pretend, not even pretending, just do the same thing you do at home. Okay? We did take the PJs with us. Okay, so when it got time to sleep, you know, like that time where everybody has eaten, everybody has used the toilet, we've changed the diapers, we just got them cozy and nice in their PJs. We got them hot milk, the last two, and we read them something, just the same thing we do at home, and we told them, we prayed, we said good night. Okay, and funny, our 4-year-old was like, we're going to sleep on the plane, like serious? And we were like, yes, you're going to sleep on the plane. Meanwhile, we didn't fly first class, so everybody had to sleep, like, you understand, like in sitting. Okay, so that was for her a highlight of, oh my god, we're sleeping while sitting. Okay, so just do whatever you do at home. Just do the same routine. You're just on the plane. If you are going to brush your teeth, you can also brush your teeth at the plane, in the plane rather. Just do whatever you do at home also on the plane, and just get them seated or sleeping when you are done, okay? And hopefully everything will work out as planned. So guys, this shouldn't be this long, but it has been very long. I hope it is filled with information that you can start with, okay? One tip I want to give to you as parents or as mom or dad flying with their children. I know this can be very hectic. It comes with stress. It comes with a little bit fear of, oh my god, what will happen? We are flying with the whole family. It is too much work. I totally understand, okay? But listen, the memories that you're going to do, the memories that you're going to capture while you go, wherever you go, the people you're going to see, okay, they're just worth each and every stress. They're just worth each and every hectic moment, each and every extra luggage, okay? They're just worth it. So just I would say close your eyes. In my language they say close your eyes and just go through it, okay? And I hope that these tips will help you go through it happy and enjoying the process, even if it's just a little bit stressful or different from what your children are used to. Take the moments serious of flying with your children or flying somewhere with your children. It is hard, but it is doable and definitely worth it in the end. Thank you very much.